else who's not happy these days is First Lady Jill Biden, who just gave an exit interview to the Washington Post, where she admitted that she was, quote unquote, disappointed by how her friend of 50 years, Nancy Pelosi, handled the controversy that led to her husband stepping down. So Pelosi's not going to the inauguration, and she's not going to the Biden's place for brunch anytime soon. Do I have that right?
Shady.
So this is a grudge. She's mad.
Well, she's very protective over her husband, and I appreciate that. We've always known that about Jill Biden.
But shouldn't she be able to separate business from friendship?
I don't think
not.
so in this sense, right? Because a 50-year friendship is a long time. What I will say is, my understanding is that Nancy Pelosi had a private meeting with Joe Biden and explained to him that she thought that he could not win. That's very different than the public thrashing that we saw from like a George Clooney and others. I thought that was very inappropriate. I did not like the way they treated our sitting president. And I think that history will look very kindly on this president. If you think about Jimmy Carter, his exit poll was at 34%. In 2023, his approval rating was 57%. And so you have Joe Biden leaving office with a 36% approval rating. We are going to think very highly of how he took us out of that pandemic, how he restored the soul of this country, how he made us, again, a respected country with our allies.
The economy
the economy is at an all-time high.
And Donald Trump is about to be president again.
And the infrastructure bill, and how he tried his best to work across the aisle. And so, you know, I understand that Jill is upset.
What you were saying about other people who, look, there were other people who had private conversations with Joe Biden. And we didn't keep hearing and reading leaks about those private conversations every time we turned on the TV or opened up a newspaper. She also went on TV and, you know, and she did things. So I think that's the part that was hurtful. You know, Hakeem Jeffries went in there. Chuck Schumer went in there. And none of those conversations leaked. I think that when you have a 50-year friendship, it's very difficult to separate things. When Joe Biden was here, when the president was here, I asked him during a commercial break, how are you doing with Pelosi? Have you spoken to him? And, you know, and he said, because he's Joe Biden, and I don't think he holds grudges, he said, we'll be all right. We've been friends for a long time. And I said to him, how about Jill? And he laughed, and he said, they're both Italian. And so, you know, that's an Italian girl there. And I understand, because sometimes when
I'm Italian, I don't hold grudges.
Because you forget, but I hold them on your behalf.
I do think we're missing something. Listen, friendships and loyalty do matter, but in public service, I think there are moments where the country comes before your friendships. And Joe Biden ran on Donald Trump as an existential threat to democracy. We will not recognize this country if he's back in office. Yet when people were going to him, people who care about him and are his lifelong friends, saying, we have the data, you are not going to win. You're going to put us on a very different trajectory if you don't step aside. I think Nancy Pelosi is a hero for trying to being the one to step up and do it. It's always women, it seems like, who are like, sorry, reality check, this isn't working. And to be honest, if he had listened sooner and if his friends and close people around him had gotten to him sooner, then Kamala Harris would have had a way better shot at winning rather than in 90 days.
Do you think that if Biden had run, in fact, that he would have beaten Trump?
No, I do not think that. And if you watched his exit speech, which was beautiful in content, there were moments where I had that same uneasy feeling as a person who actually loves him, and my politics align more with him. I voted for him, and I still watched and kept waiting for him to misspeak because he was jumbling his words. No, I don't think he would have won.
But his being there eliminates the misogyny and the racism that was part of this election.
But
I think what you're saying,
it.
Alyssa, is important because we talk all the time about Donald Trump and all the way he views being a president is for himself. The people around him, it's about Donald Trump. We always lose the main criticism of him is he lost sight of the fact that his vow was to a constitution. Mission first. It's the country first. And I think what
Who lost sight of that?
Donald Trump.
He never saw that.
He never saw it.
But he's always been loyal to himself.
But in the same way,
he's never read the Constitution.
But let me mention this.
He doesn't know how to spell Constitution.
Tammy Duckworth, Senator Duckworth said here on the Soldier's Creed the other day, and this is what public servants do. They go Constitution and country first. I'm also talking about Nancy Pelosi and putting the fact that the mission in the country came first. That had to be so hard for her to do, considering that friendship. But I also respect that if Dr. Biden feels all those protective feelings of her husband, that's understandable
And can I say
too.
one final thing? With due respect to Joe Biden and his 40-plus years of service, I think it's disrespect 50 that he keeps talking about how
52.
he would have won. Because what he's effectively saying is Kamala lost, but I would have won. I think it's disrespectful to somebody who stepped up and ran a very good campaign in a short amount of time.
It's not disrespectful to Kamala. It's about what I just said.
But why?
It would have eliminated those misogynist, sexist pigs out there, and those racist people who would never vote for a black
to
woman.
suggest that
And
Biden
you know
could have
it.
won. No, I saw that debate. He could not have won after June 27th.